You're good. Nakasali Pilipinas. Right there. There. Yeah.
Helps maintain regional stability in Northeast Asia. The USC Security Battalion was established in the spring of 1952, originally consisting of 5 officers and 10 enlisted men. We reached our peak strength near the end of the Korean War with over 1,900 personnel assigned. Currently, we have approximately 600 personnel assigned, over 90% of which are Republic of Korea or ROK soldiers. To place your tour in a better context, I'll briefly review the political history of the Korean Peninsula. Prior to World War II, the Japanese had colonized the Korean Peninsula. In the final days of World War II, the Soviet Union accepted the surrender of the Japanese north of the 38th parallel, while the United States accepted the surrender of the Japanese from the south. The 38th parallel was not meant to be a political boundary, nor did they stop country. This man, Dr. Son, was elected the first president of the Republic of Korea. In September that same year, the Soviet Union appointed Kim Il-sung to be the first premier of Communist North Korea. He reigned for approximately 46 years until his death in July 1994. His eldest son, Kim Jong-il, succeeded him in power. This was the first father-to-son succession of power to ever take place in a communist country. Despite negotiations and attempts to reunify the Korean Peninsula, on 25 June 1950, North Korea launched a massive surprise attack. This ensuing war lasted for over 3 years and cost more than 2 million people their lives. Within 1 month of the attack, North Korean forces had captured most of the Korean Peninsula. Coalition forces finally stopped the North Korean Army's advance near the city of Busan. Over the next 4 months, the United Nations Command conducted an Incheon landing and was able to push the North Korean forces back up to the Yalu River, the border between North Korea and China. At which point the Chinese army entered the war and aided the North Koreans in the war effort. The war began to stabilize around the 38th parallel. Although a permanent settlement has not yet been reached, on 27 July 1953, military commanders from the USC, Korean People's Army, and Chinese People's Volunteers signed an armistice or ceasefire agreement to end the fighting. This agreement is still in effect today. The border between North and South Korea has remained the same ever since. This white dotted line represents the Military Demarcation Line, or MDL. Under the provisions of the armistice, all military commanders were ordered to pull their troops back 2,000 meters from the last point of hostile contact, thus creating a 4-kilometer wide by 241-kilometer long demilitarized zone, or DMZ. Note the location of Seoul in relationship to MDL. We are currently located here at Camp Bonifest, just 400 meters from the southern boundary of the DMZ and 2.4 kilometers from the MDL. This is the city of Kaesong. It was the original site of the armistice talks prior to being moved to the Panmunjom Joint Security Area. Although the DMZ has become one of the most militarized locations in the world, the MDL itself consists of no fortifications. It is simply a series of 1,292 yellow and black panel markers that run from coast to coast and are spaced at 100 to 200 meter intervals. On the southern side, these signs are labeled in Hangul or Korean at the top and English at the bottom. While on the northern side, they're labeled in Hangul at the top and Chinese at the bottom. Within the joint security area itself, the border is more clearly defined by a series of white stakes that stand at approximately 1 meter in height and are spaced at 10 meter intervals, and is further extended on the conference road by a 17 by 5 inch slab of concrete that runs in between the buildings. On our trip north today, this is the area that we'll be visiting. Notice how the MDL winds its way through the middle of the DMZ and forms a finger inside the JSA. Upon arriving here today, we will be surrounded on 3 sides by Communist North Korea. You'll begin your tour here at Camp Bonifest, the next on to the MSR or main supply route. This is also known as Old Highway 1. For over 50 years, this is the only stretch of highway that connected North and South Korea, until agreement was made to open the East and West transportation corridors. MSR1 is still the only route that leads to the JSA for all armistice-related events. As we travel north today, I'll point out Guard Post 240, Observation Post Olet, Kaesong-dong or Freedom Village, Gijong-dong or Propaganda Village, the Neutral Nations Supervisory Commission Camp, and the former Czech and Polish Neutral Nations Camp. I'll now highlight in more detail a few of the areas we'll see today.